In my last life, my sister Raven Webster and I rescued 2 eggs. Her egg hatched into Snow Viper, while mine became Blazewing, but Raven stole Blazewing from me. None of us could have imagined the world would end in a brutal heatwave apocalypse. Raven died from heat stroke in that inferno, and before she died, she tricked my husband, Snow Viper, into strangling me with his own tail. Somehow, we were both reborn on the very day those eggs hatched. This time, Raven snatched up Snow Viper. She thought having him would keep her safe through the heatwave apocalypse. What she didn't know was that Snow Viper's powers could only be fueled by drinking fresh human blood every single day. When I opened my eyes, I realized the suffocating heatwave wasn't there, but I still remembered vividly the way I had died in my last life, drained of blood and strangled until I couldn't breathe. I turned and looked at Snow Viper beside me, and a shiver ran down my spine. According to beast folk tradition, a beast folk had to marry the person who saved their life. I was supposed to be with Blazewing, but because my sister Raven Webster thought Snow Viper was too terrifying to look at, she stole Blazewing for herself. A month later, the whole world turned hotter and the heatwave apocalypse began. Snow Viper's power, just like his name, could lower the temperature within 10 feet of him, creating a living shield against the burning world. Blazewing, on the other hand, carried the opposite, heat and fire. Raven took Blazewing, but she died of heat stroke in the heatwave apocalypse, while I survived thanks to Snow Viper's cooling power. In her final moments, Raven was convinced I had stolen her husband. She whispered poison into Snow Viper's ear, and he killed me. Back in the present, I had just opened my mouth to say Blazewing belonged to me when Raven cut me off. Snow Viper's mine. I hatched him. You can have Blazewing. I froze, watching Raven rush to grab Snow Viper's arm as if she couldn't wait another second. That was when it hit me. Raven had been reborn too. A smile tugged at my lips. I'd been wondering how to get Blazewing back from her, but it turned out I didn't even have to try. Still, Raven only knew that Snow Viper could cool the air. What she didn't know was that his gift depended on feeding every day from human blood, and his fangs weren't ordinary. They carried venom that spread through your veins, turning every feeding into torture. By the time Raven turned Snow Viper against me in my last life, I was already half dead. From being drained, in a way, I should thank her. At least she gave me a quicker end this time, though. Raven could experience firsthand how it felt to be sucked dry and infused with poison every day. Last time, when Snow Viper ended up with me, he wasn't happy about it. He only stayed because of the beast folks' laws, grudgingly calling himself my husband, but hearing Raven claiming him this time, Snow Viper slipped out of my reach and ran to Raven's side. Before I could even respond, his tongue flicked out in a slow, cold hiss. His eyes met mine, his voice dripping with contempt. Raven says she wants me, that makes me hers. Don't bother me again. I narrowed my eyes. So, it wasn't just me and Raven who had come back from the dead. Raven grinned at me, smug as ever. See, Megan, Snow Viper chose me. Take your stupid phoenix and go home. I shrugged lightly. Fine, if you want him so badly, you can have him. She brushed past me with her chin high, casting me a sideways glance. Leaning close, she whispered in my ear, you don't know, do you? The heatwave apocalypse is about to start. If you grovel and beg me, maybe I'll let you borrow Snow Viper for a few days. I hid my laugh. Seemed like she really had no clue why Snow Viper wanted her. I glanced at Blazewing, who was curled up tightly beside me. Poor Blazewing. From the moment he hatched, he'd been trembling nonstop. He only calmed down a little when Raven said she wanted Snow Viper instead. I didn't bother wasting words on Snow Viper or Raven. I just took Blazewing and headed out the door. Megan, are you sure you want me? I reached out, wanting to pat his head, but Blazewing flinched back instinctively. His wide, frightened eyes were locked on me. I didn't mean to upset you. Please don't hit me. Even as he said it, his body trembled uncontrollably. He forced himself to lean his head toward me, as if he was bracing for punishment. What are you talking about? Why would I ever hit you? Then it clicked. Blazewing had also been reborn, did Raven. And no, don't mention her. His whole body spasmed as if I'd stabbed him, and he curled into himself, eyes streaming blood. Seeing him like that, I understood. Raven had tortured him in his past life. I pulled Blazewing into my arms, holding him gently and stroking his wings. It's okay, it's over now, you're safe. Little by little, his shaking quieted down. I spoke gently, let's go home. The thing is, I live far away, and there aren't any cars around here. I'm afraid we'll have to walk. I gave him an apologetic look. Compared to Raven, I had almost nothing. She had forced our parents to buy her a house and a car, while I was just renting a tiny apartment. Blazewing blinked, then whispered nervously, if you don't mind, I can take you home. He bent down, lowering his body so I could climb on. I hesitated, not sure if this was a good idea, but he said warmly, it's okay, get on, I'll fly you back. There was no way to refuse him, so I climbed onto his back. I'll tell you which way to go. No need, I already know where you live. That startled me. I opened my mouth to ask how, but before I could, he spoke again. We're here. What, already? I blinked in shock. His speed was unbelievable. You're faster than a plane. Blazewing lifted his chin proudly. Please, a plane's nothing. I'm a phoenix. For the first time I really looked at him. He had such a pure, innocent face, like a boy still figuring out the world. He was totally different from Snow Viper, whose dark eyes always brimmed with malice. Aren't you gonna compliment me? His eyes shone with quiet hope. I sighed softly. You're amazing. I don't know why she'd do that to you. The words slipped out before I realized. His expression dimmed instantly. I'm sorry, Blaze. I hurriedly said. I didn't mean to bring her up. Blazewing gave a faint, bitter smile. Blaze, huh, that's a nice name, but do you think I'm just a useless phoenix? Before I could answer, he kept going. Raven used to say I was worthless, and all I did was make her hotter and more miserable. Unlike Snow Viper, she said I ruined her life. She plucked out my feathers one by one. She stabbed me with needles, snapped my beak with pliers, and broke my wings. Then she threw me outside to die. Am I really nothing compared to Snow Viper? Why did you choose me? Why would you want a useless phoenix like me? I had suspected Raven mistreated him, but not like this. I hadn't imagined she'd been so cruel. She was the one who chose Blazewing in the first place. The heatwave apocalypse wasn't his fault, as no one could have predicted it, yet she blamed him for everything. No, Blaze, she was wrong. You're amazing. You're so much better than Snow Viper ever was. I know you're just trying to make me feel better, but it's fine. I'll be okay. He forced a shaky smile, as if he didn't want me to worry. I looked at him him, my gaze firm. I'm not just saying that, you really are better than Snow Viper, 1,000 times better, and, I'll tell you a secret, I've been reborn too. Blazewing's eyes lit up instantly. I told him everything about my past life, the way Snow Viper had tortured me, drained my blood every single day and, eventually killed me. Blazewing looked stunned. No way, according to beast folk tradition, we're supposed to be completely loyal to the one who saved us, no matter how they treat us, we're bound to endure it. If we break that ancient rule, we'll face severe punishment. How could he do that to you? I gave a bitter smile and shook my head. I don't know either. And what do you mean by severe punishment? I'm not sure. I only know it's really, really bad. I see, forget it, no point thinking about it now. I pulled Blazewing down with me onto the couch. The heatwave apocalypse is almost here. Shouldn't we be preparing something? We thought about it. Air conditioners wouldn't help. Once the apocalypse started, the power and water systems would collapse. In the end, I decided to go out to my family's old country house and dig a deep cellar. The underground was cool in summer and warm in winter, and best of all, it didn't need electricity. Blazewing wasn't just fast, he was strong. In less than a week, he dug a cellar over 300 feet deep. Along the way, we even struck underground water that solved both the heat and the water supply. I rode on Blazewing's back all the way to the bottom. The moment we landed, a refreshing chill wrapped around me, the total opposite of the heat outside. Blazewing noticed me shivering and quickly used his power to raise the temperature to something comfortable. I smiled at him. We've got water and temperature figured out, but what about food? That's easy, he said. I'll dig another chamber nearby, bigger than this one. We'll plant crops underground. With the sunlight we channel in and the water supply, the heat during the apocalypse will actually help things grow. We just need a month of food stored up until the crops start coming in. We divided up the work and got everything ready just in time. Tomorrow, the heatwave apocalypse would arrive. That night, I curled up on the big bed in the cellar, holding Blazewing close while waiting for the apocalypse to begin. When I woke up the next morning, I could already feel the difference. The cellar was warmer than yesterday, rising from damp and cold to a cozy, comfortable temperature. Blazewing stretched on the bed with a groan. Finally, I don't have to keep using my powers. I've been working them every single day, and it's exhausting, I swear. My phoenix blood is about to run dry. Wait, are you saying using your powers costs you blood? Of course. It's like when you humans play video games, you spend energy. For us, it's blood. Guilt tugged at me. I looked at him, my chest tight. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I could.